Have you ever wondered why the lonely Cubone was crying all alone in the deep dark woods on such a peaceful night? What secret was hidden behind his tiny tears? The Viridian Forest was completely still, wrapped in a blanket of cool, soothing night air. The leaves overhead rustled with a soft, gentle whisper, and the stars cast a warm golden glow across the mossy ground. Our sweet friend, an adorable electric yellow mouse creature with glossy black eyes and distinct rosy red circular cheeks, was just settling down into a plush bed of green grass. He stretched his long pointed ears with black tips and gave his lightning bolt-shaped tail a lazy wag, ready to drift into deep sleep. But just as he closed his eyes, a soft, heartbreaking sound echoed through the quiet trees. A tiny sniffle that made his ears perk up instantly. Pikachu sat up and followed the sound until he spotted a tiny, sad figure sitting by the root of an old oak tree, holding a small cloth tightly to his chest. It was a little Cubone, a gentle creature wearing a pale, smooth skull helmet that hid his face, his small brown body trembling as large, glistening tears rolled down the front of his mask. Pikachu stepped softly over the velvety moss, careful not to make a sound or startle the weeping little Pokémon. He didn't want to scare him away, but he knew he couldn't just leave him there under the dark canopy of trees. Why was this little traveler so upset when the rest of the world was fast asleep? As Pikachu drew closer, the small brown creature looked up, his dark eyes blinking with surprise from beneath his smooth bone helmet. He clutched his soft blue blanket even tighter against his tummy, letting out another tiny muffled sob that seemed to shake the quiet forest around them. Pikachu offered a warm, comforting smile and patted the spot next to him, showing that he was a friend who only wanted to help. The little dinosaur-like creature stopped crying for a brief second, looking at Pikachu's bright glowing red cheeks with deep curiosity. But just as the initial surprise began to fade, a sudden, chilly gust of wind swept through the branches above, causing the little lonely figure to shiver and drop his head once more. Pikachu realized that simply sitting here wouldn't solve the mystery of his sadness, and staying out in the open wind would only make him feel more alone. With a gentle wave of his hand, Pikachu pointed down a winding, sheltered path that led deeper into the heart of the magical woods, hoping a small change of scenery might bring a smile to his new friend's face. What lay ahead in the deep forest? And would they find a way to make the tears go away before the moon reached its peak? As they walked along the winding trail, the tall trees wrapped them in a cozy, protective hug, shielding them from the chilly night wind. The ground beneath their feet was soft and springy, covered in a thick carpet of glowing green moss that felt like a plush mattress. The little creature in the pale skull helmet walked slowly, his tiny feet making soft thud-thud sounds against the earth, still holding his favorite blanket tightly. Pikachu kept his long black-tipped ears high, listening to the gentle hum of the nighttime forest, to make sure everything was safe and sound. But even though the woods were calm, a faint, rhythmic rumbling sound began to shake the bushes ahead, growing louder and louder with every step they took. Pikachu stopped, his glossy black eyes widening in curiosity, while the little brown traveler shrunk behind him, wondering what kind of strange mystery was waiting for them. Just around the corner, the rumbling wasn't a scary monster at all, but a giant, dark green and blue Snorlax sleeping soundly right in the middle of their path. He was stretched out comfortably on a mound of soft earth, his massive round belly rising and falling like a slow, steady wave. Every time Snorlax took a deep breath, a loud, whistling snore puffed out of his nose, causing the nearby grass and colorful wildflowers to dance and sway in the air. To get to the other side of the trail, Pikachu and his small helmeted companion had no choice but to carefully climb up and over the sleeping giant's soft furry tummy. Pikachu went first, stepping lightly onto the warm, bouncy belly, balancing perfectly as he waved for the little one to follow. The small creature took a hesitant step forward, but just as he reached the very top, Snorlax let out an extra loud, rumbling snore that tickled the little traveler's toes. The sudden vibration made him lose his balance, and he tumbled backward, landing with a soft plop right into a giant, overflowing pile of ripe oran berries that Snorlax had collected for breakfast. Pikachu turned around quickly, worried his friend might start crying again. But what he saw made him let out a soft chuckle. The little traveler was sitting upright in the middle of the blueberries, and a perfectly round, juicy orange berry was perched right on top of his smooth bone helmet, like a silly little crown. The sight was so wholesome and funny that the tiny Pokémon completely forgot his sadness for a moment, letting out a bright, cheerful giggle that echoed through the quiet trees. Pikachu hopped down and playfully tapped the berry off his head, happy to see a real smile on his face at last. But as they looked past the sleeping Snorlax, they noticed the path ahead suddenly became incredibly thick, blocked by dense dark brambles and sharp, tangled briars. The cozy moonlit path had completely disappeared, and a deep shadow fell over the forest floor. How would they ever get past these sharp branches without ruining the little one's soft blanket? And what would happen if the shadows brought back his lonely tears? Pikachu stepped to the front of the dense, thorny wall, looking at the sharp branches that completely blocked their way. The little traveler in the smooth bone helmet shrunk back slightly, hugging his soft blue blanket even tighter against his chest as the dark shadows crept closer. Pikachu knew he had to act fast to keep his new friend from feeling scared or lonely again. He didn't want to use any loud or scary attacks that would ruin the peaceful night, so he closed his eyes and let a warm, gentle energy flow through his body. Dear, his distinct rosy red circular cheeks began to glow with a soft, comforting Sunehri Roshni. The light wasn't bright enough to look like a harsh flash, but instead resembled a cozy night, casting a beautiful, warm amber radiance all around the dark, spooky trees. With a playful wag of his lightning bolt-shaped tail, Pikachu stepped carefully toward the tangled brambles. Instead of smashing through them, he gently tapped the base of the thickest vine with a very mild, sparking touch. The warm, tingling energy flowed through the branches, causing the sharp thorns to instantly soften and curl away, opening a perfectly smooth, safe archway, just big enough for them to walk through. As the vines moved aside, a shower of sweet, ripe forest berries that had been trapped in the upper branches came raining down, landing with soft thuds onto the velvety moss. The wonderful, sweet scent of fresh berries filled the night air, making the little traveler's nose twitch with curiosity. He stepped through the newly cleared path without a single scratch, looking up at Pikachu's glowing cheeks with wide, amazed eyes. The dark shadows were completely gone, replaced by the gentle, golden warmth of friendship. But as they finally reached a beautiful, open clearing, covered in a thick blanket of soft green grass, Pikachu noticed that the little brown creature suddenly stopped walking and looked down at his blanket with a tiny, sad sigh. The core mystery of his tears was finally about to be revealed under the bright silver light of the moon. What was the secret trouble that had been bothering the little one all along? Pikachu knelt down beside the tiny brown creature, his glossy black eyes looking closely at the soft blue blanket. That was when he finally discovered the true answer to our opening mystery. Cubone wasn't lost, and he wasn't afraid of the dark woods. A tiny, sharp forest thorn had gotten stuck deep inside the soft threads of his favorite blanket, pricking his small paws every time he tried to hug it for comfort. With a gentle and steady touch, Pikachu carefully pulled the pesky little thorn out of the fabric, ensuring he didn't tear the blanket at all. The little traveler gasped softly, realizing the pain was completely gone, and instantly squeezed the narrow blanket against his chest. It was perfectly soft, warm, and safe once more, bringing a deep sense of relief to his tired little eyes as the last of his tears dried up completely under the silver moonlight. The beautiful clearing was now filled with a deep, hypnotic silence. The silver moon shone down like a giant, glowing nightlight, casting soft shadows across the peaceful grass. The gentle, warm breeze carried the soothing scent of sweet berries through the trees, making the entire forest feel like a giant, cozy bedroom. Pikachu let out a long, heavy yawn, his long pointed ears drooping sleepily as he curled up into a soft, round ball on the velvety green moss. The little Cubone snuggled down right next to his new best friend, pulling his warm blue blanket all the way up to his smooth bone helmet. Together, their tiny chests rose and fell in a slow, steady rhythm as they drifted off into a world of beautiful, sweet dreams. If you loved sharing this magical journey and want to join Pikachu for more cozy, sleep-inducing adventures every single night, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to help our little community grow. Close your eyes now, little trainer. Let your worries drift away, and have the most wonderful, peaceful sleep. Good night, little Good night, Pikachu. Sleep tight.